Hi everyone, I'm Jenna and I will be guiding you through this yin yoga practice. If you've never practiced yin yoga before, grab some blocks, grab some support, anything you may have around the house. This practice will focus on helping to support the flow of prana in our body. So we'll work with the chakras, the 7 main chakras alongside the spine, and we'll start from the root up. So grab your props. I recommend you have blocks, maybe a blanket if you have that, maybe a pillow, and we'll get started. So come to hero seat, a little bit more towards the back end of your mat. If this is not comfortable for you, if this is not available for you, you can always put a block underneath your buttocks and sit on it. Close your eyes. Try to sit up tall. Feel yourself nice and straight. Place your right hand on your belly. Place your left hand on top of your heart space. Can you soften the shoulders down? Can you relax your arms completely? Let's just take 2 clearing breaths. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold at the top. Open your mouth and let it go. Again, big breath in. Little pause, and exhale, let it go. Let your shoulders sink down. Seal the lips and right away start to deepen your breath. And as you breathe, notice the areas underneath your palms lighting up, become more alive. As you inhale, your hands move forward. As you exhale, your hands move back towards the body. Inhale, you notice the expansion. Exhale, notice the contraction. Take a moment to set your practice and intention. It can be anything. Maybe you just ask yourself, what is it that I need right now? And take 3 more breaths with your intention, solidifying that intention into your being. Next, inhale, blink the eyes open. Come off of the feet. So you come briefly just on all 4s. Bring your feet together, your knees together, and tuck your toes under. We'll come into toe squat. You'll probably have to manually adjust the pinky toes under. You can have your knees even a little bit wider than your hips. This will help you feel a bit more stable here. If this feels like a lot for you right now, you can lean forward and release as much weight off of the feet as needed. I want you to come into a place where you can be for 2 minutes. If you're seated on the heels, you can just have your hands on the lap. Close the eyes. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep breathing. Soften the forehead, relax your jaw. Maybe you'd even like to open and close the mouth a couple of times. Helps to release the tension in the jaw. And notice how the energy begins to move from the feet. You probably feel a lot. That's totally normal. Relax the shoulders down. If you're seated on the heels, make sure you don't have any arch in the back, so your tailbone points straight down and the crown of the head points straight up. We want this energy channel that is at the center of the body always nice and neutral, nice and long. This way the energy can flow freely. Three more breaths. Always feel free to sigh it out. Helps to release any excess heat. Slowly start to come off of the feet. Blink your eyes open if they were closed. Untuck the toes, bring the tops of the feet onto the mat and sit onto the heels just like we started. Maybe this is plenty for you, enough sensation on the ankles, on the tops of the feet here. If you want more, bring the hands behind you, way back behind you, fingertips point forward. You tent onto the fingertips, bend the elbows, make sure your feet and your knees are together, and maybe you pick up the knees. The higher you can lift the knees, the more you'll feel an opening on the tops of the feet. We won't stay here for as long. Tune back into the breath. So we're illuminating the first chakra, which is our foundation. It's the feet, the legs, and also the pelvic area. Three more breaths. One more breath in. Maybe you pick up the knees a little bit more. Exhale, set the knees down. For a moment, lean forward, just so that you can tuck the toes under, roll over the feet, and come into Yogi squat at the back of the mat. You might want to have a block underneath the bum. So I just like to sit on a block, makes it super relaxed, and have the block as high as you need to, maybe even a couple of blocks. Toes slightly in, heels slightly out. Separate your feet a little bit wider than your hips. And if you notice that the heels don't touch the floor, you can always double fold your mat so that you fill up the gap between your heels and the floor. The upper body will rest completely passive in between the legs. Bring the fingertips out in front. Let the spine round. Head hangs heavy. The chin will come to the chest. You'll feel a big opening through the back of the neck and the back of the spine. And sometimes this may even feel a little bit overwhelming, but it's good to open the back of the neck as well. So see if you can really allow the head to hang heavy. Take a big breath into your belly. Slow exhale out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Notice where you're holding on to tension or trying to engage your muscles. Can you release? Three more breaths here. Next, inhale, slowly lift the head, chin comes off of the chest. Start to straighten your legs. Turn your toes forward, heels behind the toes. Your feet can still be as wide as the mat. So your heels are behind the toes, and bend your knees so much so that you can bring the lower belly onto the thighs. Your choice what you want to do with the arms. Maybe grab opposite elbows. Maybe gorilla arms. Maybe interlace the hands at the back of the skull. Helps to, again, open up the back of the neck. Begin to breathe into the back side of the body. It's okay to sway here a little bit, just making sure that doesn't come from a place of being restless. More just surrendering into the flow here. No need to stay rigid. 3 more breaths. Next, inhale, release the hands, look slightly forward, bend the knees, we'll come into yogi squat 1 more time. If the first round felt really, really uncomfortable, feel free to adjust it in any way that you may need right now. Again, if you want to make it as relaxed as possible, I highly recommend you sit on a block or a stack of something. Again, release the arms out in front of you and fold down in between the legs. See if this time it's a little bit easier to just hang here. Notice if the legs are starting to feel more open. Shoulders away from the ears. Now we are tuning into the sacral chakra, the second chakra, which is located right underneath the belly button and rules all of the organs that have to do with circulation of water. So for instance, kidneys and the urinary bladder. So these shapes help to stimulate the functioning of the kidneys, for instance. 3 more breaths. Next, inhale, slowly lift the head, slowly start to extend the legs. We'll come into that fold. Turn the toes forward, heels behind the toes. You can even have the feet a little bit wider. Maybe you'd like to feet hip width distance. Totally up to you right now. Maybe you take the same variation with the arms, maybe a different one. But again, bending the knees so much that you can feel the lower belly on the thighs. And let the upper body just hang completely. It's okay to sway here. Finding that center point of gravity. Big breaths into the back of the body. Exhale, surrender. Breathe in, expand the back of the body. Exhale, surrender. 3 more breaths. Next, inhale, come sort of halfway up and walk yourself into downward facing dog. It's a very loose down dog. Your feet can be wide, knees generously bent, elbows bent. Maybe you shake out the head a little bit, loosen up. Take a big breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Breathe in. Exhale, set the knees down, come into tabletop. Readjust the hands underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. Thread the right arm underneath the left armpit, right shoulder, right side of your head, come onto the floor. So you have some options here with the left hand. You can just have it in front of the face. Maybe you'd like to extend it forward. Maybe onto the lower back with the hand palm facing the lower back and fingertips pointing back. This is a nice way to make sure that the hips don't swivel to the left too much, that they stay square. Maybe the left hand to the right hip crease. Adds a beautiful opening on the front of the left shoulder. And really try to relax your weight onto the right shoulder. you'll get healthy pressure on that right shoulder. We're moving into the third chakra, also known as solar plexus. So we're going to do some twisting here. The third chakra has to do with our self-confidence, self-esteem, sense of personal power, our own radiance. And truly in life, if you allow yourself to trust your center and you know your center, you'll move with pure confidence. Can you soften your forehead? Relax your jaw. Last 3 breaths here. Slowly unravel, press the left hand back in front of your face and thread the right arm from underneath, right hand underneath the right shoulder. Take a breath in the center. Exhale fully. Thread the left arm underneath the right armpit, left shoulder, left side of your head come onto the floor. Choose what you want to do with the right hand. Maybe it's in front of the face. Maybe you extend it forward. Maybe to the lower back. Fingertips pointing back. Just making sure that the hips don't move too much to the right. They tend to follow the direction that we twist to. Maybe towards the left hip crease. This will also give an opening to the front of the right shoulder. See if you can relax your weight onto the right shoulder. Can you tuck in your chin a little bit so your head is not crunching back, lengthening the back of the neck? I always like to have my knees maybe a little bit wider than my hips here, just so that I feel nice and stable. If the knees are very close together, you might feel a bit wobbly, and we want to feel nice and stable. Can you relax your forehead, soften your jaw? Last 3 breaths here. Make them big. Always feel free to sigh it out. Bring the right hand back in front of your face. Press onto the right hand. Unravel left hand underneath the left shoulder. In tabletop, take a breath in. Exhale completely. We'll move into melting heart. You will probably want some sort of a prop underneath the chest. Start to walk your hands towards the top corners of your mat. So make sure your hands are at least a little bit wider than your shoulders. And then you can see which part of your upper body wants to reach the floor. Maybe it's the forehead. Maybe it's the chin. If your chest is very open, maybe the chest touches the floor, but it will make you feel very supported if you can place something underneath the chest. It is a lot more easy to relax here when you have something underneath the chest. If your shoulders are tensing up into the ears a lot, separate your hands wider and come up a little bit higher. Breathe in deeply. Exhale completely. Breathe in deeply. Exhale completely. Can you melt the shoulders away from the ears? Feel the neck spacious. Can you soften your forehead and your jaw? Maybe you even feel a little bit of fire accumulating in your body. That's totally fine. Keep breathing. A lot of stimulation into the heart chakra, the fourth chakra. Probably feel your heart space expanding, but also our arms are an extension of the heart chakra. The left hand is the receiving hand and the right hand is the giving hand. And the heart is the loop in the middle where we sort of bring everything together, this equal exchange that we have with the world. Where could you soften a little bit more? Three more breaths. Feel free to sigh it out. Start to press your weight onto the hands. Slowly, slowly, slowly walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Move your props to the side if you use them. Bring your knees together, your feet together. Come into a small, narrow child's pose. Feet together, knees together, fingertips next to the toes, palms face up, and let the spine round. Take a big breath into the back of the body. Exhale. Can you be fully soft here? Notice all that energy moving through the heart space. Maybe you notice tingling in your fingertips, warmth in your hands. Just observing. Next, inhale, come up to seated so that you're seated on your heels. We're gonna come lay down on the back. Swing your feet on either side so that you can just extend them forward. Keep the knees bent and come lay down on your back. Maybe for a moment you'd like to hug the knees into the chest, sway a little bit from side to side. Next up is throat chakra, and we'll create some compression onto the throat area by going into Plow Pose. So we'll bring the feet behind the head, the legs on top of your face. What is important in Plow Pose is that you keep the chin as close to the chest as possible, and you don't look to your left or to your right. So you'll feel very compressed, but that's the point. Keep breathing. So you can always start by bringing the feet onto the mat. You can just have a look first. So then when you're entering the shape, you don't have to look towards me or towards the screen. You know what's going on. So you can start by placing the feet onto the floor. Maybe you use your hands to get the feet on top of the head. Use a little bit of momentum, bring the feet behind the head. Try to tuck in the chin super close to the chest. It should touch. Bend your knees as much as you need to, and you can either have the toes tucked under or tops of the feet on the mat. Now breathing into the belly will come a lot more difficult, so try to breathe into the sides of the body. Inhale into the side ribs, exhale, contract. Instead of fighting the sensations, just take it one breath at a time. You can have the hands on the lower back, maybe the arms onto the floor. If your feet don't touch the floor behind the head, always feel free to put some blocks there, or maybe even rest them on a couch or something. Can you relax your legs completely? Maybe tuck in the chin a little bit more, extending the back of the neck. Soften your forehead, relax your jaw, don't bite your tongue. 3 more breaths. We'll come into waterfall from here. So you can support your back with your hands. Slowly begin to roll the spine back onto the mat. Slowly, slowly, slowly use your hands to slow it down. And let the legs point up towards the sky. Bend your knees as much as you need to have the legs comfortably over on top of the head, or the hips rather. It's okay if the legs shake or vibrate a little bit. Just take a deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Feel your tailbone root down. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Feel your spine melt onto the floor. You can have your arms, your hands like in Shavasana, just palms facing up. Upper body is fully relaxed. Three more breaths here, allowing the energy to move towards the head. We're stimulating the third eye, which is the sixth chakra, your intuition, your ability to see your bigger vision. Slowly start to bend the knees. You can hug the knees into the chest, or broken bridge, bring the feet as wide as the mat, knees together, and just breathe. Allow the sensations to settle down It can be a lot of sensation after plow pose, so you really want to give yourself the time to allow those sensations to dissipate away. Every sensation that we get is there to just arise and pass away. Arise and pass away, every single sensation. Notice if you're holding on to sensations. Notice if you're trying to push them away. That will disrupt that natural loop of emotions, feelings, and sensations. If you'd like, one more time, you can hug the knees into the chest. We're gonna finish the practice in supported fish, so you will need at least one prop. Come onto the left side of your body, push yourself up a little bit so that you can lay the upper body, mainly the shoulder blades, on a prop. Maybe you need another prop underneath the head. It's really nice if you have a long yoga bolster or a long couch pillow. You can rest it on top of the props, maybe in like a little incline. It's super relaxing. And then rest the upper body onto your props. Whatever variation that feels good for you with the legs, you can do broken bridge, feet wide, knees together, or soles of the feet together, let the knees fall apart, sleeping butterfly, or like in Shavasana, just extend your legs, feet towards the top corners of your mat. Have the hands further away from the body. Take an extra moment to roll the shoulders back, snuggle the shoulder blades towards one another. Close the eyes. Feel your body. Notice how you feel. Can you surrender completely? Let go of any effort. Be completely still. Focusing on the breath, observing how the life force unravels right in front of you and within you. Tune into your crown chakra, which is there at the highest point of your head, at the crown of your head. And this is all about knowing your purpose and surrender, knowing that everything happens in divine timing. You're here for a reason, and that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. There's no need to control or try to fix things. Everything is as it should be. Can you breathe into that? Can you relax into that? And just allowing yourself to lay here completely open. Ready to give, ready to receive. Notice if there is still more that you could let go of. Releasing what no longer serves you. And now take a moment to remind yourself of your intention for the practice. Why are you practicing? Most importantly, honor yourself and thank yourself that you decided to take this time, that you decided to show up for yourself. I'm going to leave you here in supported fish. Feel free to take a traditional shavasana for 3 to 5 minutes to fully rest and take your time getting off of your mat. No rush. Thank you so much for practicing with me. It was my honor. Namaste.